And now, we begin.
Okay, now does it work?
Let's see what that blade can do.
Special delivery.
Okay. Now officially part 2. It's been 5 days. We're gonna start where we left off. About, which was it? February 28th. The day I got kidnapped. Alright, hold on, I'm banning this guy from chat. Anyways. So it basically just started off like a normal day. And what had happened was I get a call from my adoptive father saying that my tax income has arrived. Okay, so I get a call from my adoptive father about my income tax, and then from there, he tells me like, "Oh, come home so he can give it to me." So I decide, okay, yeah, I'll come home and he'll give it to me. And now, because I was already living with my fiance at the time, but then I think a day before we went, my fiance had a dream about a bad feeling of this, and well, how do I say this? I didn't listen. She then tells me that this is still a bad idea. I shouldn't go, but I didn't listen, and I ended up going because we needed the money.
We begin.
For our wedding that we were slowly planning next year.
Okay.
We get there and I do feel something off, but I don't really say anything because, you know, I didn't want her to break. So then what happened? We get there, like I said, that feeling, I didn't listen because, well, you know, I don't listen. I go inside, I go pack my stuff. Well, first I see my adopted father. He finally gives me a hug after years. 20 years to be precise, because a man never shows affection. And he says, "Oh, hey, your mother wants to talk to you." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll talk to her." But she ends up asking me if I came alone or I came with my fiance. Weird question to ask, you know. From my wife's point of view, what she had told me is that while me and my mother were talking, my adopted father had gone outside to apparently take the keys to the car. I hadn't known that because, like I said, I was too busy talking to my mother.
Red is the winner.
My team is counting on me.
You fought well today.
I may not know binary, but I know 1-0.
It's just it's hard to remember sometimes, you know. But anyways, as I was saying, yeah, he went to go try taking the keys. She ended up hiding it. While she was hiding it, I was still talking to my mother. She was telling me, like, why'd you leave? Why did you leave without telling us? It's like, you guys weren't gonna let me leave to begin with. You guys had kept making it impossible with all these apparently strikes and strict rules. It was nearly impossible to live there. And then they said, okay, fine, do you want to go pick up Brian, your brother at least? I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go pick him up.
Now we begin.
I was gonna go tell my wife, but at the time I couldn't tell her because my adopted mother as well had taken my phone. And then from there, from my wife's point of view, she had said they shoved my head in the car, and they did shove my head in the car. And the more I realized it, because I noticed it. From there, we go pick up my brother from school. And then I'm thinking we're heading back home finally, so I'm like, okay, well at least I don't have to worry too much about my wife, because I can go get her as soon as I'm done. Nope, we go to this random house, I don't know. And I had asked my father at the time, like, why are we here? Apparently it was some doctor of theirs that they had to go pick up some medication. I'm like,
That was done.
I'm like, what kind of doctor takes medication? I thought those were legal. Like, you're not really supposed to do that. I don't know how the law works sometimes. Yeah, like I said. What else happened? We were there for like maybe a whole hour or so.
Not letting that happen again.
Anyways, we were there for like a whole hour and a half. I'm over here worrying about my wife in the hot stinking car.
Surprised.
Eventually we finally leave, and then from there they take us to a restaurant, and I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? I have to get back to the car for my fiance. They're like, no, she's okay, you guys can eat, let's just eat. And then as soon as we finally finish eating, we get there, and she's nowhere to be found. I'm over here breaking down in tears and shit, and I'm gonna fucking... I'm over here like, oh, where the fuck is she? Where did she go? Apparently that they had said, oh, she didn't... If she loved you, she would have stayed. I'm like... Well, I mean, if you think about it, she had said she left because she told her mom to pick her up, because that's what my adopted mom had told her when she opened the car when we left. And then from there,
And now
the entire time I was kidnapped for approximately like 9 hours. Well, yeah, you can call it kidnapping, because they blocked off my car, they hid all the electronics, My keys were gone. I had no phone to call them. They had left to go get more alcohol because they had told my uncle for help. They had asked him for help. They had asked my uncle for help to help kidnap me because it was his car that was blocking off my vehicle as well.
Heads up! Ain't that a kick in the head?
Save that one special. Save that one special.
Aim for the fences! Okay, Doc. You got me fair and square.
Who dare?
Sorry, I'm just focusing.
Fine work, Blue.
Ah, yes. And then from there they told my uncle they were going to the store to go get more alcohol. And then my uncle was like, okay, I can watch them from here. And I knew I was also kidnapped with the fact that they didn't even let me go outside.
Say, a rabbit.
And then my uncle was outside while I was inside. I grabbed my brother's phone because that was the one electronic he didn't hide. I call my fiance with the contact I had saved in my Apple Watch. She finally answers. She tells me what happened, that they had sent her a text saying that to leave me alone, that I want nothing to do with her anymore. And then they also texted my father-in-law that tell your daughter to stop harassing. We want nothing to do with her anymore either. What else? Oh, and then I end up calling my grandpa to see what he can do. He didn't do anything because he's old. And then as soon as I delete the call log with my wife, that's when they suddenly start barging into the room. That's when they finally arrive home and barge into the room, and the only call they saw I sent was of my
we begin.
grandpa. Then from there, eventually my adopted mother had to go to work because she works at night. And then from there, she tells me we'll talk about it in the morning. She leaves, and I'm over here stuck. I knew they were gonna stay up the whole night to watch me because both my uncle and my adopted father were watching the front gate or the front porch of the house. I remembered my brother's VR connects to Wi-Fi. Well, technically it was my VR, but we had to share it because
I'll take a whack at it. Out the way.
Prepare to feel the sting of explosions.
So then I end up contacting my fiance on the VR. Messenger, and then she tells me the cops that her dad already called in the cops.
Fine work, Blue. You fought well today.
Part of a joke. Stop.
Find your center.
Around 10, she had told me the cops were arriving, and then from there I had waited for approximately 2 hours for the cop. Well, an hour an hour and a half for the cops to arrive. I didn't eat anything, I didn't drink anything that entire time. My father tried to give me a pill for something, I didn't know what it was, but I was not about to get Bill Cosby, that's for sure. Finally, the policemen arrive, and then... what? And then the policemen arrive,
And now,
and apparently my father is arguing with them. Arguing with the police officers. And then he finally calls me and tells me that to come outside and talk to the officers. While we're walking to the officers, he then tells me that he doesn't... that to tell them I'm not kidnapped, that everything's okay, and that to make sure I speak in Spanish so that the cops understand what... so he understands what I'm saying to the cops. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. So I end up talking to them in English, and I tell the officers what had happened, and that they said, yeah, you're definitely kidnapped. They had told me like, hey, like we're gonna give you a choice. Do you want to leave or do you want to stay? Because if you don't leave, you're never gonna. Because if you don't, if you stay now, you're not gonna leave. And I told them like, hey, I want to leave.
Ooh, I'm a beautiful steed. You're right. I'll take a whack at it. Going now. Cake's back and ready to help. You guys don't compute. This might sting.
red is the winner.
What else had happened? And then from there, I told the cops I want to leave, obviously, because I don't want to be here any longer. Yeah, mind you, this entire time they still see nothing wrong with me. To this day, they still say, "Oh, we didn't do anything wrong." Bullshit, you didn't. So I told the officers I want to leave. And then they said, okay, we'll cross the fence and then we'll leave. As soon as I'm finally about to leave, my adoptive father stands in the way, crying and yelling at me, like, why are you doing this to us? And then he grabs me from the back and then proceeds to pull me away from the cops. The cops then jump over the fence and start pulling out their tasers on him. My adoptive father then slips and I end up releasing from his grip. And I run past the officers and I run to the cop cars. From there, the cops just watch my father walk him back to the house, or he walks off to the house, and they end up coming back to the cars. I think I forgot to mention that this entire time my uncle is recording and I think he yells out, we're gonna sue you guys or whatever for entering our property. I'm like, well, I mean, you need to understand what he kind of caused was assault. Well, not really assault. Yeah, I don't know.
Ooh, my tail is all frisked up now.
What then happened? Ah, yes. Then I finally arrived back to my mother-in-law's apartment, because after the cops told me they were gonna take me home and finally send me back.
Fine work, Blue.
Thanks, Hub, I got 9 lives.
Red is the winner.
Ooh, beautiful steed. Try and keep up with this. Clip clop busters. Ooh, I'm a beautiful steed.
Anyway,
You are defeated.
then I finally arrive home and I tell the officer the report. And then from there, the day is just over. But then, you would think it just stops after that. No, they harass me even to this day. But usually there's more stuff that happens. But I guess I'll do a part 3. If this video gets maybe like 5 views, then I'll do a part 3. But, well, I'll see you guys later. That's our so far story. Well, that was the traumatic part of it. There's even more, but you'll get the gist.
And now we begin.
Alright, I'll see you guys later.